Nigerians woke up to an increase in electricity tariff for those categorized as Band A customers, meaning those enjoying light from 20 to 24 hours on daily basis. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, backed its decision of increasing the tariff to be within its operational guidelines and laws of the land, as well as drive towards better service to electricity consumers, though the increase is being categorized according to priority and demands of consumers, but it elicited mixed reactions from the consuming public. Wide hike in the tariff, looking at the supply and demand situation of the electricity. These and other questions will be answered live in today's Panorama from NTA Kaduna Network Center. It's a pleasure to have you join us. I am Salamatu Lukman Mohammed. President Bola Tinubu has approved system-wide policies to comprehensively overhaul the education sector to improve learning and skill development, increase enrollment, and ensure the academic security of the nation's children. The president approved the conduct of an extensive census of the following: all schools in Nigeria from primary to tertiary level, their conditions and living facilities, proximity to one another, educational infrastructure, all teachers in Nigeria, their qualifications, training support received, all pupils and students in primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, gender, exam grades. Others are teachers' development and support skill development and acquisition for all levels and national skill frames. The framework is designed to provide the appropriate skills for each level of education that will result in the empowering of generations of Nigerians with the required aptitude for the evolving needs of the global economy of the 21st century. It is expected that once fully implemented, these programs will succeed in resetting learnings and connecting the dots for significant improvement of the overall education system in Nigeria, in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Moving on, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has called on the police and other security agencies to arrest any parent who is found near any of the computer-based test CBT centers during the 2024 UTME exercise. The directive was issued at the final briefing of the computer-based test CBT center owners, and JAMB says the directive became necessary following the intrusive disposition of some parents during previous exercises. The registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, warns that any parent who disobeys the order would not only be arrested, but his word would also be disqualified from sitting for the examination. All arrangements, he says, have been concluded for the conduct of the 2024 UTME, which will be held in over 700 centers across the nation, and appeals to center owners to consider the assignment as a national engagement and not as profit venture. Efforts are on to enhance Nigeria's digital infrastructure, which will lead to secure and seamless data exchange capabilities. Victor Azu reports that at a meeting between management of the National Identity Management Commission and the National Information Technology Development Agency, agreements were reached on a national public key infrastructure and digital public infrastructure, which will enhance synergy between digital identity payment ecosystem. A 12-man committee has now been set up to ensure a smooth implementation of the initiative within 4 weeks.
we need to work together with NIMSI to see how we can come up with a framework for the national public key infrastructure, a framework for a data exchange platform, and how we can work together to build the Nigerian digital public infrastructure stack.
The NIN, which is a unique identifier, is basically the foundational identity on which the digital public infrastructure sits on. So it's important that we have to harmonize together to advance the course of technology in Nigeria.
A Trademan Committee has now been set up to ensure a smooth implementation of the initiative within 4 weeks. The momentum on climate change awareness is building by the day. This is being achieved with the Institute of Strategic Studies and Development Communication of the Nasarawa State University, providing a platform on effective communication as a veritable tool for driving action and resilience in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Charles Alpha reports. Charles.
The recent surge in heat waves underline how far and fast the world around us is changing, owing to the adverse effects of climate change. Concerns remain high from the recent Nigerian Meteorological Agency forecast on rain and flood. How these extreme weather events are being communicated to Nigerians formed the basis of this 5th International Conference by the Institute of Strategic and Development Communication of the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, Nasarawa State. There, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, was represented by the Director General of the Nigerian Telephone Authority, NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos.
Communication is very key so that people will be aware to their responsibilities. People should take the issue of climate change very seriously. We are all witnessing what is happening today. Though some people are maybe lackadaisical about climate change, but it's a reality.
I'm delighted in Nasarawa State that the Institute is actually hosting this very critical and very timely and relevant conversation on climate change.
Scholars will be able to interrogate the nexus between communication and climate change. This law provides that if you are caught holding out yourself, pretending to be a public relations practitioner, when you are not registered with the institute, it means you are not certified.
Please, if you are not sure, don't share. We are in the age of fake news and misinformation.
While the DG NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, received an award of excellence in public communications on behalf of the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, books on health, communication and development, as well as journals on development and communication studies were also launched. From KEFI, Nasarawa State, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Kaduna Network Center. We'll go on a short break. Please stay tuned. The National Working Committee of the Governing All Progressive Congress, APC, has inaugurated 2 separate committees to steer the forthcoming Ondo State governorship primary election slated for 20th of April 2024. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga has the details.
Preparation ahead of the battle for the party's ticket for the Ondo forthcoming governorship election has just begun, and those to spearhead the process have been carefully selected and inaugurated. Now, the 16 aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress have been cleared to participate in the party's exercise slated for the 20th of April 2024.
You will abide by the principle, the doctrine, and the constitution of our great party.
All the 5 delegates for 203 wards in the 18 local government of the state have been duly elected.
If there's any discrepancy or if there is any disagreement, then the appeal committee will listen.
Away from the Ondo governorship primary, the national secretary of the party says the legitimacy of its national chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, remains valid.
The court that has jurisdiction by the Electoral Act, which we drafted,
is the Federal High Court, and the Federal High Court has said the purported suspension should be recognized pending determination of the case.
The party says it will explore every legal avenue to ensure that those behind the unwholesome enterprise are termed to serve as deterrent for the future. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The 98th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party has ended with a resolve to constitute a reconciliation committee to reconcile all aggrieved members towards returning to the party to a formidable one. This was part of the resolutions at the meeting held at the party's national headquarters in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
No change in the leadership of the party as acting national chairman of the PDP, Umar Damagum, continue in same acting capacity. PDP 2023 presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, his running mate Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara and his counterparts from other PDP governed states were among members that attended the NEC meeting. Members re-emphasized on the urgent need to rejig the party towards greater performance.
We must, as urgent as possible, reposition and strengthen the party for effective and constructive opposition, bringing on the table acceptable alternatives of policies and programs in the governance of our dear nation.
To further strengthen our party, we must go along the line of the 3 R's. Of reconciliation, repositioning, and restructuring.
The governors of the PDP are united and poised to give support to all the organs so that they can perform their constitutional functions.
Both Senate and the House of Representatives caucus of the PDP, represented by their leaders, will commit to make the party great again. The meeting is the first where all the leaders of the party came together since the last general elections. The meeting of the Board of Trustees of the party earlier held, urging leaders to quickly look into some controversies surrounding the offices of both National Chairman and Secretary. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And on power sector, the recent hike in electricity tariff and categorization of electricity distribution into band A, B, C, D, and E by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission have generated mixed reactions from Kaduna residents. Muhammad Umar Rajingi delves into the plights of residents in band E.
Wale Olatunji, a printer, solely relies on a constant power supply to be able to operate this machine for his daily production. But unfortunately, Wale's business outlet falls under the ban with unstable power supply in the recent categorization of electricity distribution by the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, a problem that leaves Wale and many small-scale business owners worried, spending hours waiting for their turn of supply, which hardly lasts for an hour.
More than 3 months now, we have not been seeing lights. We'll come from morning till night. There will be no lights. And if I thought they will give us light, it will not be more than 1 hour in the day.
Abdul Wahid Bashir, a graphic artist, is also complaining of the unstable power supply.
The 2 hour amount I get in the work, at the end of the day, I spend it on diesel. Spend no less than 21,000. That's the minimum.
In 24 hours, we can have like 30 minutes and they will take it.
The challenges of unstable power supply in most communities across Kaduna State has affected the lives of many people who struggle to get access to potable water. Wale, Abdul Wahid, as well as many small-scale business owners who fall in the category of Band E, have no other choice than to rely on generators for power supply, while their counterparts in Band A category have access to about 20 hours daily power supply. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
With me in the studio to discuss more on that backgrounder is Malam Idris Muhammad, the team leader, Media and Community Relations, Kaduna Electricity Distribution. Sir, you're welcome. to our studio.
Thank you for having me.
You've watched the report.
Yeah.
So what informed the hike of tariff in the electricity?
Well, in a sentence, I will say it is an effort or drive towards what we call cost-reflective tariff.
Yeah.
When we say cost-reflective tariff, we mean let's have a tariff regime that cover the cost of generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity to the end users. But coming to your question, it is a convention globally that the cost of energy is always being affected by macroeconomic policies of the government. In Nigeria, the government, I mean the federal government, have been subsidizing the electricity. So effective this month, we have what we call service-based tariff, and this tariff regime comes into effect since 2020. But effective implementation of that tariff regime, I would say, starts this month.
Okay.
This month, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission announced withdrawal of subsidy from electricity users on Band A. And as your correspondent rightly said, we have 5 bands, Band A to E. And each band has certain limit, that is the minimum number of hours that power supply should be supplied to that band. And Band A, according to regulations, must have at least 20 hours. And as I earlier said, the subsidy to electricity users on this band is removed, and as such, customers on Band A now countrywide, I mean the entire country, pay 225 naira per kilowatt hour. That is in each unit, for each unit of electricity, they pay 225 naira.
That means
as against 66 naira that the Band B customers are paying, and 55 naira that Band C are paying, and of course the live line who are paying 35 naira per kilowatt hour. You see, according to the explanation of the regulator and even the Honorable Minister of Power, is that our customers on Band A across the country only constitute 15% of the customers in the electricity.
And this includes those with prepaid?
Yeah, all electricity users, if you put them together, 15% of them are those affected by this tariff review. But interestingly, they consume 40% of the electricity being generated. And of course, the government in its wisdom says, look, these people have the capacity to pay for their electricity. So why giving them subsidy? Rather, let the subsidy be used for other developmental effort. So this is the main reason why the adjustment, I call it adjustment, in the tariff regime was effected.
But with this adjustment, don't you think the hike is coming at the wrong time, especially with the epileptic, instability of power?
Well, you see, when we are talking of cost-reflective tariff, I don't think there is any time that it's wrong for us to make effort towards achieving that, because our experience with subsidy in this country proved that it is unsustainable. However hard you try, you cannot sustain it. So as painful as that decision is, I believe it is a step in the right directions, and with time, I believe we will get to.
Let's say this quickly now. How do consumers have confidence in you because of lots of complaints coming out from?
Yeah. Certainly, the implementation of this directive has come with it some challenges as well. In our effort to meet up the minimum regulatory requirement, we have had challenges here and there, but I'm telling you, we have been working seriously, and our customers on other tariff band will surely get the minimum required for their band.
Thank you so much, Malam Idris Muhammad. We really wish you can go on to explain to consumers out there, but time is not on our side. We hope to have you here again next time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Moving on, Kaduna State Government has commenced integrated training for community facilitators on emergency service delivery for the affected population of the recent Kuriga school children kidnapped in Chukun local government area of Kaduna State. Correspondent Haruna Muhammad reports that the training involves parents and volunteer teachers as well as community members.
Aftermath of the recent kidnap of Kuriga school children in Chukun local government area, the children rescued and reunited with their families. This dastardly act has left the community and families devastated, and this training of community facilitators on emergency service delivery for affected population of Kuriga is by the Kaduna State Government in collaboration with the United Nations Children Fund. A minute silence was held in honor of the teacher who lost his life in captivity. Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development Rabi Salisu in her address says the program became essential towards rehabilitating the people and to ensure no child drops out of school as well get back to their normal lives.
They are going to have knowledge to make sure that the community people know what is trauma and how to come out of trauma.
The participants, consisting of parents, volunteer teachers and community members from Kuriga, expressed gratitude to the federal and state government for identifying with them during their trying moments.
To call upon the parents in order to feed their child or to guide their child in search of education, because education is legacy.
And with this training, I hope when we go back, we will be able to deliver our services to the community.
Having undergone training on child protection and psychosocial therapy, the participants are expected to go back and rehabilitate their community for development to thrive. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Next is sports dates by Olumide Eguntola. Olumide's sports report conclude Panorama today with thank you so much for watching.